Welcome, everybody, to Monster Man.
Yarr! We're at part 3. We're doing top 10s.
Top 10s.
Top 10s like crazy.
What's your top 10 this week?
We've done ghosts. We've done monsters. Let's do slashes.
Slashes? That's a great idea.
It only makes sense because you and I grew up when slashers became the norm.
The heyday of slashers.
I mean, the late 70s, all through the 80s.
80s was all about slashers.
I know. What the hell was wrong with us? It was a
Easy.
fun decade. What?
Easy. There was the traditional slasher and the supernatural slasher.
But it was all about killing lots of people.
Yep.
It was a decade of cocaine and fun rock music and all goodness, and we loved slashers.
Boobies.
Oh, so many boobies.
Slashers in particular.
Yeah, you get your best booby quotient.
It's interesting. I'm curious to see
Quantum.
what qualifies as a slasher. Because like in the Netflix slasher...
I don't believe they're stupid classifications. Screw Netflix.
Let's see what you got.
Okay, I'm going to go backwards here. Here's one that's on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it. Rites of Spring.
I think I saw that a long time ago.
It's from maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, maybe I haven't then.
And it's a spring equinox, kids on a farm, and this scarecrowy kind of...
No, I think you talked about this on an episode.
Love that movie. And it doesn't get the attention it should get, so I'm giving it right now, from me to you.
All right, I'm going to watch it.
Watch
We're
Rites
talking
of
on
Spring.
Final Guys. See what happens.
There you go. Here's one. You could watch the original or the remake. They're both great. My Bloody Valentine. Which I love. I love the remake of that.
Is the remake with the guy from Supernatural?
Yes, it is. Dean or... What are the two guys? I don't watch Supernatural. So there's...
I used to. I don't watch it
Jan
anymore,
and
but
Dean?
He's good, though. That guy is...
He's big.
He should be in more stuff.
Dumb guy.
He's pretty funny.
Yeah. He's
So
not
the
funny in this, but...
No. Listen, the first one that's an 80s classic.
Yes, it is. The remake is equally... Is
that the
remake's a little
minor?
better. Yeah, it's the minor. They're both great. And I think the remake is 3D. I don't have the 3D version. I have the regular 2D. But both of them are phenomenal. I mean, there's a formula to this.
Oh, yeah. That was like in the wake. So there was like all the Friday the 13th and Halloweens and all that. Then like the Happy Birthday to Me and Prom Night and all that. So all of a sudden it turned into what holiday can we do or what?
Yeah.
And so that was in the wake of all that. But it was one of the better ones.
April Fool's Day I almost put on this list. Which I love that.
It's a controversial movie, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Because like, oh, she didn't really kill everybody. It was fake. You bitch! Here's one. Tell me if I tell you this line, can you tell me the movie? Did you check the children?
Oh, When a Stranger Calls.
Boom! There you go. With Carol Kane was the
Kane.
babysitter.
Have fun storming the castle.
Charles Durning.
That is a total classic. My sister was a babysitter when that came out.
Oh
so
my
it
God.
scared the hell out of her.
That's a scary movie. That's Mary Higgins Clark wrote that.
Wow. That is a total classic movie. That
Yeah.
is. Have you checked the children is one of the great lines of all.
They're in the house! He's in the house! The call's coming from the house! Get out of there!
Remember Dr. Katz, MD, the cartoon?
Yes.
So there's one where Ray Romano's in the car, and he sees a spider on the windshield, and then he's like, oh my God, then you realize the spider's inside the car, and he's like, oh my God, it's in the car, get out of the car, the spider's in the car! Total call back to that movie.
That's funny. That's a great... Don't watch the remake.
No.
It's not good. The very first one is very gritty. It has a real feel to it. The 70s, nothing has a better real feel horror to it than the 70s.
Now that there's cell phones, that movie wouldn't work.
No, not at all. But it is a movie of its time. Here's another one, The Burning.
Is that the one with the shears?
Yes! Campers. It was riding on the coattails of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, like
it had
Sleepaway Camp.
George Costanza in it.
What?
George Costanza's in that movie.
Wow, Jason Alexander.
Yes, it had some nudity, it had canoeing, it had people peeing in a canoe, it had a campfire,
What else could you ask for?
scary tales, island.
Pee in the canoe. It's all pipes.
It had everything. In fact, I don't know. I may be wrong, but I think some members of the Burning will be at Chiller Theater in Parsippany this Halloween. I think. That's one that it got overlooked for years.
I honestly have not
in.
seen that since the 80s.
Oh, we're going to have to make sure we correct that, son. I don't own it. I wish I have to make sure. I have to buy it. Remind me. Write that down.
Mental note to self. Buy the Burning.
There we go.
Isn't Bloody Good Horror's logo The Burning?
Yes, exactly. I almost wore that shirt. Here's another one, and another one you could watch the original or the remake.
We both have Camp Crystal Lake shirts.
Yeah, we do. Maniac.
Oh, here's one I love.
That's a great. Both of them are great.
So, in the original, there's a scene where the maniac jumps up on a car hood and shoots somebody with a shotgun and blows their head off. I swear I've rewound on VCR.
Well, to see that head blow.
To see the blow off literally 100 times. We were just like that, and we would go back and rent it again just to watch that scene.
Yep.
And then there was a scalping scene, and then the mannequins at the end. I haven't seen that movie since like the 80s. I want to go back, but that's one of my like. What made me like a hardcore horror fan over other people was movies like Maniac and Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Everybody saw Friday the 13th, but nobody saw Maniac, and it was like that was like an X-rated movie back then.
Yeah, that was hardcore to get a hold of that. I remember we had to go to different video stores because the one that my parents wouldn't let me have it, and we had to go to another one and fill out the form and get this just to like, yeah, God, you can have it.
And then the remake with Elijah Wood is great.
That's a great remake.
And that's shot like POV.
Yep. It's like most porn nowadays. POV horror porn.
Stepmom.
But Elijah Wood, his version is really good. The original to me, though,
is better. But if you're flicking around looking for something to watch and you see the Elijah Wood Maniac, if you're going to talk about horror movies from the past 10 years, that's must see.
Yeah, it's really good.
Elijah Wood's like a little horror guy.
Well, yeah, he loves horror. He does a lot of production of horror movies.
So. Social.
Thank you there, Willard. Here's one for you. Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm saying the first one.
Yeah.
That's a straight slasher movie.
Well, I was wondering if you were going to include this because
it's not my favorite, but I understand what it brought to the genre.
I just wondered, like, is that a slasher or is like supernatural or whatever? But when you get down to it,
man. He had knives for hands, slashing people. Slasher.
Yeah,
Can't
there's
deny
some great stuff in that movie.
The first one's creepy.
That scene, if you look at the behind the scenes, they actually turned that bedroom on its own rollers. So that
really?
room actually goes upside down.
So the blood pours right out?
Oh my God. Like when the girl's getting thrown on the ceiling.
Yeah.
The room is rotating.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. Like so.
What? See, that's one movie that it set this bar really high in the first one, and nothing subsequently came even close.
There is a scene in that movie where one of the girls who had been killed already, is in the hallway in a body bag.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the creepiest things you'll ever see.
Right. And then they became comedies.
Which, I love Funny Freddy, so that's fine.
It's just so weird to flip that switch.
The thing is that concept doesn't need to have 18 movies.
No.
The Dream thing, a few movies was enough.
Yeah.
Dream Warriors took it, made it funny. After that, it's like, move on to something. It's like Terminator movies. Enough, we get it. Move on to
Please don't make
else.
another Terminator movie. We're begging you. All right, so we got here's one undeniable slasher movie, Psycho.
Yeah, he's the.
I had to watch that.
He's the grandfather of slashers.
Based on Ed Gein, the cannibal killer. I had to watch that. Oh my God, maybe a dozen times in film. When I took a film class, we studied that for months.
Norman Bates is based on Ed Gein.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Loosely based on Ed Gein.
Because that's fun. Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Silence of the Lambs also.
Ed Gein's, he spawned a lot. They were like, oh, well, people like to just murder a lot of people? Okay, I'll base them on him.
It's funny because the first time I saw Psycho, I didn't like it because I was like, this movie's really slow.
I loved it.
But I was a kid, and then it's like Blade Runner. Like I first saw it, this is okay. Then I got older, and I was like, okay, I get it now.
Blade Runner, I had one of my first chubbies. Because I was a Philip K. Dick fan reading. Like, Psycho, here's a little thing. Bernard Herrmann did the movie, did the score. The first score that was all strings. There you go, little...
Really?
Yes, so that's awesome. And in Psycho, the books, if you read Robert Bloch's books, Norman Bates is a 40-year-old fat guy in the books. She's like a real loser, middle-aged guy. And then in the movie, they change him to this thin, young guy. And in the TV show, he's even younger. The TV show's phenomenal. 5 seasons, that arc is pure perfection.
That show had no business being as good as it was.
No. I mean, not at all. I didn't want to watch it at all. My dad told me to watch it, and I was like, I reluctantly turned it on. I was like, holy crap, this is so
There was one season where I was like, okay, but then it like recovered and...
Well, there was one... Yeah, they were doing so much. It was soap opera-y, and they were building so much, but it all came to...
The ending was awesome. Jesus Christ.
If you haven't watched A&E's version of Bates Motel, you have done yourself a disservice. And you may no longer watch Monster Men. You're banned until you watch and come back.
And there's some hotties in that show.
There are, including... Number 3... Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Go Leatherface.
We just recently rewatched this movie. It's so good. And again, one of the things that we pointed out was he doesn't use the chainsaw as much as you would think. He uses a hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
In
whatever blunt instrument is at hand.
No sequel made Leatherface as terrifying as the first one, because in the first one he just seems like a genuinely deranged person wearing a woman's face over his, and it's just he's like a fat crazy guy.
It's
whereas
terrible.
the rest of them was like, oh, this is like a horror movie I'm watching.
Right.
This was more like, this guy actually escaped a mental institution and we need to get the hell
The first
away
one is so gritty, you think you're finding a found film that you shouldn't watch. It's forbidden.
And it doesn't look like it's a set. It looks like it was filmed in some backwoods crazy ass house.
Tobe Hooper conjured some magic making that movie.
And the lead woman in that screams more than anybody in any movie ever.
I always thought when I watched it, I'm like, what were her vocal cords like? Because she's passed away since then.
Oh, they must have dubbed over.
Jesus Christ. It's a lot of screaming. Okay, here's another one. And you can pick any movie in the series. Friday the 13th. Has anyone killed more people than Jason?
Jason's the prototypical slasher.
Yes. He has killed 200 people, maybe? At least? So we do the over. I don't know how to say that. The whole friggin' series.
I mean, look, when people talk about horror, the first thing they say is, "Oh, the guy with the hockey mask."
Right.
Like it's a
hockey mask of all things. Hockey, the only pure sport left alive.
Which the hockey mask didn't even show up till part 3, right?
3. Because the first one it was his mom. Second one he had a sack over his head. Third one he had the mask.
And I don't even know if he can actually skate.
I don't think he can. He's too big and gangly. I don't know if he can do that.
Like Andy Moog would have been better.
I think Gordie Howe was the original killer. Phil Esposito. But you can't. You can't deny that our buddy Jason is one of the all-time greatest killers in American history.
Listen, Freddy versus Jason.
I rooted for him.
I rooted for Freddy because one of the great moments is when Freddy is messing with Jason in the dream. Like, oh, I'm a baby. But like that movie delivers. You know, you watch like all the old Universal Frankenstein versus Wolfman or whatever,
Dracula.
and they never even saw each other till like the last 20 minutes of the movie or whatever. If there was ever a movie that delivered on the so-and-so versus so-and-so, it's Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, God, yeah.
You get exactly what you want out of that movie. It's dumb fun.
Yeah.
Both guys. The only thing is I wish Kane Hodder had been.
Yeah, but that's all right. And they got an equally big guy.
Yeah, that's it. When you talk about like popcorn movies, you got your two slasher.
Plus, they had that girl. Who was the blonde?
She was in Entourage.
I can't remember her name right now. This is so sad.
She's worth the price of admission.
Yes. And it had the girl from Destiny's Child. Kelly Rowland.
Ooh, she gets it with the coat hook.
Yeah. That's a good movie. I wish they could have done more with that. You know? And the director was an Asian guy who never saw either movie.
Really?
Yes. So, number 1, because it is Horror-tober, Halloween season, Halloween, Michael Myers. The first one is the bomb. To this day.
Here's the thing. Halloween itself is like the best freaking horror movie. Mm-hmm. The rest of the series...
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I don't give a crap about the rest of it. But the first one is so good, and Jason doesn't exist without Michael Myers.
Right.
Like that movie, and the scariest parts of that movie are like during the day. Michael Myers.
Where he's like by the clothesline.
Yeah, by the clothesline, or he's like behind the bushes.
Right.
And you're just like, oh my god, because like usually you're like, it's got to be night.
Yeah, I put him up there.
And the fact, like even at the beginning when he's like a little kid. It's such a good movie.
It's a great movie.
And then that was like the first movie where the bad guy kept getting up.
Yeah.
And that's why we were talking about Terminator. Like, Michael Myers was like the first one to like keep getting up. And then in Terminator, you were like, when he kept getting up, you were like, oh my god, he's getting back up. Like, before that, like, the bad guy would go down and stay down. These two were the first two. Then Jason went from there, and now it's like an everyday thing.
And one of the best parts is that's the score.
Bam, 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 bam.
Dun, 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 dun,
Not unpleasant.
Ding, 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 dun. That's phenomenal. It just...
If you have a chance to see this in the theater, you need to see it on a big screen with no distractions.
Yeah, that's a lot of problem with watching it. I mean, you can get everything at home nowadays, but most stuff is ruined at home. Because you're checking your phone, you flick on the light, you go to the bathroom, somebody comes in and says something. It breaks the spell. It breaks the magic of whatever you're watching. That's why a lot of
you get immersed in this.
Yeah. So that Mike is one of my favorites.
I like Mike.
I drank with one of the Michael Myers ones. He was a nice guy.
Good list.
So is that a decent list?
Decent list.
Decent list. There you go. Slashers. Tell us which ones we missed. We missed a ton. I know you could do Prom Night, House on Sorority Row. Oh my god. There's so many. I'm short-circuiting from it. And
Nighthawks.
Nighthawks. Nighthawks. So anyway, there you go. There's your... Jesus.
Dressed to Kill.
What the hell's the matter with you? These aren't horror movies. Get your head in the game.
Dressed to Kill is a horror movie.
No.
Angie Dickinson getting slashed? That's a slasher movie.
No.
That is a slasher.
I'm not allowing it. Vote it down. What's your vote? By the way, we got a copy of Dark Dossier to give away. So if you're the third person to comment on Facebook about...
What's the movie we missed?
What's the movie we missed? Third person, Facebook, mention it. You get.
You'll get.
Halloween episode. Issue. Whatever.
DarkDossier.com. Go get them.
All right, so we have now had a full day.
Yep, and we're done.
We've had a lot of alcohol. We are completely done. Tell us something you want us... Here's an idea. Tell us what episode you want us to do for the future.
Great idea.
And we will do it. I don't care how stupid it is.
Well, we'll can contemplate them and pick a few.
Or I'll do it on the side and I won't tell Jack.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, and tune in for your next episode of
Monster Men.